2, 1, and we are live from the world.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
And here we are live again on a Saturday morning. It's a beautiful day.
It is.
How are you doing?
How are you both doing?
Everyone?
I'm doing great. I just had so far a great morning, and now that we're doing the show a few hours later, it doesn't mean I have to be. I can smoke cigars before and after the show and drink as much scotch as I want. Thank God. And today.
For you, 2 hours later means that you're 3 drinks down or 4 drinks down already. That's what it means. Only broken your stride and you're into these things.
Yes, and just so we're clear, I'm 3 drinks down, only in my left hand. So cheers to that.
Hang on. Cheers to you as well.
There you go. Usman left us for a second.
Yeah, he has connections in Pakistan. In that moment, I'm going to light up. I'm going to let you know right at the top of this program that you should like, comment, and click subscribe. If you're on here now, subscribe. You're going to get lots of good stuff. I'm going to be smoking the Monte Cristo Open Eagle, which Usman is going to tell us. Usman has just come straight back fresh to this. He's going to tell us what the Monte Cristo Open Eagle is about whilst I light it using a lighter.
Oh, very pretty.
Oh, the Joker one. You've already brought the Joker out? I thought that was the topic for the day.
Is it the topic? The topic is me. Right.
Okay, so given the topic for the day, which we'll come to later, I thought it was apt to pick up something which is Churchill. So that's short Churchill, Romeo and Julieta, short Churchill.
Oh, good one.
Very nice.
Robusto. Yeah, but that's a Robusto. I'm going to light this one up.
And I thought it would be good for the day, the one I keep talking about, the CAO Brazilian Amazon, the bad boys of cigars, because as you always ask me, I can't taste squat, but I do have an 18-year-old Macallan. I was going to say I have an 18-year-old, but in some countries that's illegal. So I have an 18-year-old Macallan with me, and she's wonderful, and I'm drinking a 21-year-old Scotch. But I'm enjoying my cigar and my Scotch with my 2 mates, and I'm looking forward to the show. But I figured that would be good to smoke my Brazilian today. So,
just to let you know,
and you're smoking a Brazilian. I am drinking some Brazilian orange juice as a pair.
There you go.
Okay.
Nice.
I am always with my halal cup of tea.
Yes, God forbid. God forbid he doesn't have tea.
You're known for drinking your halal drinks.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Steven, just so that you know, it was literally 5 minutes ago. I was talking to a friend who's a very dear friend about the cow Brasilia, and the whole conversation was about that he's trying to get some cigars because it's 4th of July tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then all the websites are on sales and all of that stuff. So he was trying to get some cigars from the US, and then he said, damn, they don't even deliver. I was like, what were you trying to get? And he was like, I was trying to get CEO Brasilias. I was like, good stuff. Let's figure out how to get them.
I can listen for a small fee. I can ship cigars wherever he needs. I have a wholesaler. We can get them. And I think they only cost $6-7 million a box, and I think it's fine. We're good. So yeah,
absolutely. Just so that you know, the guy is a barrister himself, so he's gonna sue us first and pay us later.
Okay, good. I like, and being a Jew, I demand cash up front. So, but there's a wholesaler I use to get my CAO Brazilian Amazons, and they always have them. And like I said, it's a great everyday for $5 or $6 a stick. It's a great smoke, and it's one of those things. Like if I have to do something, I don't feel like, oh my God, I've got to keep smoking it because Like when I'm smoking a Davidoff, I'm like Rizzo, right? I've got to get the little thing at the end. I got to get down to the last nib. But this one, whether I smoke it 25% or 50% or 70%, don't care. It's just a nice smoke. And I figured it'd be a nice smoke for today, since we're talking about, world leaders. Now, for people that have never seen the show, let me tell you what the show is about. The show is the three of us get together. We talk about cigars and Scotch, Asian hookers. I'm kidding. We don't talk about Scotch. And then we speak about the dinner guests that we would like to show up for dinner. This week's topic is world leaders that are in power. And then at the end of that, we talk about Scotch and cigars and anything else that comes up. And then we tell you what we think we're going to talk about next week. And that's it. And every Saturday morning, you can join us, whether here or on a podcast. Because our podcasts are everywhere.
And since you're podcasting this, it is my job to fill in the empty airspace with sort of those chuckles like,
oh
yes.
My God.
Yes.
It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those shows. Yes. And the good thing is, as I was telling,
Steven, since you mentioned about the topic today and the world leaders in power, I thought it was important that I bring all these leaders that have already gone.
Steven, can we focus in? Can we focus in on what Usman has behind him? Can we see which world leaders he has?
He's got Castro, Mark Twain, and Winston Churchill.
That's right. Once again.
Well, yeah. In Stephen's word, it's Castro, Mark Twain, and Churchill. In my world, it's Quaid-e-Azam, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Churchill, and Castro.
There you go. So, but yeah. So for these guys, for you cigar aficionados, Usman is a sommelier, so he really actually knows cigars. So he will actually every now and then. Stop it. He knows cigars. Listen, let's just be honest. Riz and I are just YouTube personalities and influencers that know nothing. We just look and we just sit here and look pretty all day. When a gentleman, Usman's the star, and that's just the way it works. So if you ever want us to talk, have a whole show just about cigars, put your comments below. If you're a cigar manufacturer, if you're a cigar anything, and you have a cigar you want us to do, stand to the show, and we will do it. If you want to come on and be critiqued by Usman, please.
That way, if there's a cigar you want us to do, it's almost like a victim that you need to assassinate. We'll do this cigar.
Well, we are talking about world leaders today, so good go. Yeah.
Well, now, all things said and done, this flattery isn't going to let you get off the hook. I am in the competition for today.
Okay. Damn it. So, well, before the show, we were speaking about what world leaders I've actually had Scotch and cigars with, which we won't talk about on air. And unfortunately, none of them are in power today, which was annoying to me because I had to go think about the leaders that I want to have cigars and Scotch with. So there you go. So we have that going.
Since it's the 4th of July tomorrow, and the 4th of July is
technically the 4th of July has passed because this show airs on Saturday, even though we're recording it on July 3rd. So this is Saturday, 4, 5, 6. This is the 6th of July. So it's been 2 days.
Today on Saturday, we're traveling back in time 2 days.
Okay.
Pretending the 4th of July is tomorrow. And the 4th of July, as we all know, is a very important day here in England because we're having our national elections.
That's right.
That's why it's important.
Oh, you're bringing back your favorite, Mr. Sunak.
And may I start at the very least by saying that just yesterday, so 3 days ago from Saturday, one of my favorite politicians reared his head. Boris Johnson has reappeared on the scene like a disheveled mop. And that has got all my juices flowing in terms of who could I have as a dinner guest. And I would honestly, I would love to have Boris Johnson if he fitted the profile of our guest this evening. But he's not in power currently, even though I think in his head he's always in power.
In power, I was going to say, yeah.
And I also could have selected no end of leaders in the world who I would just have for dinner, just so I could slap them, reach across the table and give them a slap. And I've decided not to go in that direction.
Now, were they female leaders? Because some of them like that. Because I have at Hilda's House
I
of
didn't
Pain,
say
I
that.
see them there.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
But there's no end of leaders that would just be invited to that dinner table for a seeing to, if you know what I mean.
But when you say a seeing to, like so some of the female leaders, I'm thinking a smack across the bum, a little bondage. Oh, Hilda's House of Pain.
I see you are 3 or 4 drinks down this morning. I think you are. So
wait, I'm only 3 or 4 drinks down in my left hand. So my right hand hasn't even started yet. So
let's see.
Okay, and before Raza continues to sip on his Mirinda that I can see.
It's not Mirinda. It is sparkling Brazilian orange juice from Marks and Spencer.
Why does the packaging looks like it's a trademark infringement? And yeah, from this side,
Well,
it
it's
just
because
looks like Mirinda.
The sun is not a trademark infringement. The sun is the sun.
So, since Raza asked me to start on the cigar and say a little bit about that, okay,
yes.
So Monte Cristo Open Eagle, if I'm not wrong, right?
Let me show you.
Hold on, let's see it. We'll get you a close up. We'll get you a close up of that one. There you go.
There's the Monte Cristo Open Eagle.
Yeah, that's a Robusto. That's a Robusto, and the significance of the Monte Cristo Open series is that this was actually a new introduction to the Monte Cristo linea, specifically to celebrate the tennis, the game of tennis and all of that, and more to do with Wimbledon and all that stuff. And in the spirit of Wimbledon season going on these days, I think Raza has picked up a very, very good cigar.
And I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you right there. You have in describing this cigar and giving us the rationale. Stephen's ready and poised. Because Stephen knows what's coming. Before Alzheimer's strikes again, it is tennis season. It is sports season. There's F1 going on. There's football matches going on. This is a genre which I do not attack. But next week, we are going to have our favorite sports stars on.
Dead or alive?
Yes.
No. Okay, so they can be dead or alive. Okay.
On that one.
Of all time,
favorite
sports stars.
Oh, all time?
All
Bubba.
time.
Oh, I got guys you've never even heard of.
Well, I was fearful of that. But I've only planted that just now because Usman hit the key word, the Open.
Okay.
The US Open.
All right.
And I didn't want to wait until the end of this show to say that. So that is done and dusted. And Usman will remind me 5 minutes before the next show next week.
Like we did today. Just so everybody knows, about 2 hours before we go do our show, I sent a text out to say, hey, we're going to see you guys in 2 hours. And undoubtedly, every time after I send that text, about 30 seconds later, Riz is nice enough to say, what's our topic? And then both of us text him. We both of them text the topic. And actually now, today I had to actually leave a voicemail to him because I couldn't just say world leaders. I had to say, you said it was going to be world leaders that did X, Y, Z. And they had to be alive and in power in this whole like diatribe of what we're doing. And then he shows up prepared 2 hours later. Where the rest of us actually do it like during the week to make sure we have people, but sports people, this is going to be a beauty.
So just to show you that I haven't suffered permanent brain damage, I'm going to go first this week with my guest.
Congratulations. Oh, of course you are. Go ahead.
Now,
is it written on cardboard?
I consider this person a world leader. I consider this.
Cool.
You may not agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
A remarkable personality, a fighter.
I'm sitting right here, baby. So.
World leaders, I have to give a shout out. Thank you, Mr. Trump, for watching.
I was waiting. When is this going to come?
Good luck.
Yeah, I know.
Some of your viewers might even count the number of time I mentioned Mr. Trump and give us a number at the end of the YouTube video.
They should drink every time you mention them.
And the winner will get a heart like that.
Oh, okay.
Or a MAGA cap.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. You're on your own.
Okay, am I going first? I'm going first.
You're going first. You just said you were with your cardboard sheet.
I'm
Why are you
going
written on
for
cardboard?
a leader. I'm going for a current world leader who
Uh-huh.
I would really enjoy having a cigar with. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure he does smoke cigars, but I'm going for someone I'd consider. I'm going to stick to the positives. I'm not going for very negative leaders, because that gets a bit too controversial, because I can fly off the handle.
Are you choosing
So I'm going for a
MBS?
leader. Sorry.
Isn't this new today?
Are you choosing MBS? Because this is where this seems like it's going.
Why don't you wait to find out who I'm going to say?
Well, Stephen,
I'm going
in that
for someone
case,
very dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm going for someone who has almost single-handedly changed the direction of his nation.
I was right. Who it
I'm
is.
talking about someone who I would love to smoke a cigar with, love to share a dinner table with, even go on a drive with through the desert with.
I was right. It's MBS.
It is Sheikh Maktoum of Dubai.
I had him on my list. Damn it. Okay, fine.
And I'm
sorry, that's not counted, man. I have that on my list as well.
I happen to think Sheikh Maktoum is a
Yes.
cool cat. When he
I
comes
agree.
to London, he will walk around. He will use the underground. He's got his fellows. Oh, there we go. There's the celebration started for the 4th of July.
We like the Sheikh.
Very nice. And Sheikh Maktoum is sort of a very hands-on ruler. Apparently, he's very accessible. I love what he's done in the middle of the desert with Dubai it's not just a city. I think Dubai is a nation. It's just grown so fast.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think he would be amazing dinner company. I think he would have no end of stories to tell. But I really gravitate to this figure. And I happen to think, what a cool dude to have dinner with and share a cigar with. And I suspect he may smoke an Open Eagle with me, because the eagle is very important in that part of the world. The falcon.
That's true.
It's very important.
I agree. I will say this. I love Dubai, as you know, because I go there a lot for business. I've not met him, but we were at a restaurant once where he was. They cleared it's very cool, and he is very accessible. And everybody that I've spoken about him to, that knows him, says nothing but nice things. So Sheikh, or Sheik, depending on what part of the world you're in. Sheikh Maktoum, if you're watching,
arguably one of the coolest world leaders.
Yes.
Arguably one of the coolest.
Anytime you want to fly the three of us over and have do a show with us, we'll interview you. We'll have Scotch and cigars, and then
no, we won't. We'll have cigars.
Yeah, we will have cigars
and tea,
coffee, and all of that.
We'll have cigars and tea. Some of us in our team may have some Scotch, but anyway, we'll have cigars and tea, and then we'll interview you. And you can tell us all about the Dubai and what your plans are for the future. No more seeding clouds, though, while we're there, because we don't want to go during a hurricane. And we will come in the summer months. I'm just saying, I'm pandering to a world leader, as I usually do. And there you have it.
This is the first time that one of our choices has been waxed lyrical by the other two participants. I think that's a popular. So I win that round.
You do. Without it even going, you already won.
Let's see who you're coming up with, Stephen and Usman. Stephen, you go next.
Okay. Mine, first of all, the fact that you didn't pick this guy, I'm shocked. Just shocked. Because our show is called Habanos Cigar and Scotch Show. So I, of course, have to pick one of the world's greatest leaders that no one's ever heard of, only because I want free Cuban cigars, and that's Miguel Diaz-Canel, which is the president of Cuba.
I knew. I had him on my list. I had him on my list as well. I thought if we're going to bargain cigars with anyone, it's going to be him.
Right. So we all have the president of Cuba on our list. Not that I'm pandering to you, Mr. President, but listen, Daddy needs cigars.
But you
know what I'm saying?
I
am. And I'm allowed to travel. I'm allowed as an American citizen now to travel to Cuba. They do have flights, and so, Mr. President, at your invitation, the three of us will be more than happy to come to Cuba, smoke cigars, and do an interview with you and he will drink scotch, not tea. Drink scotch, smoke cigars, and
And
enjoy
Faris,
the Cubans.
He'll be
mistaken
drinking
here
Bacardi.
again.
He'll be drinking
You,
Bacardi.
both of you are mistaken here again. He'll
Okay.
drink Cuban. He'll drink Cuban rum. What are you talking about?
Oh,
What are
that's
you
okay.
guys
I'm
I
talking
said
sorry.
about?
Bacardi. I said that.
Oh,
Really?
Cuban coffee is even better.
Cuban coffee, yes.
Have you ever had Cuban coffee?
I did. I have.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
love
put
And I
sugar
love
Cuban
cubes
that.
in my coffee.
No. Cuban coffee. Let me explain Cuban coffee. Cuban coffee, they give you a drop of it. You can't even taste it. They give you it's like this much is Cuban coffee,
Yeah.
right? They give you that much Cuban coffee. You drink it, and you're up for 4 days. It's the best. When I lived in Palm Beach, we used to go down to a place in Miami and get Cuban coffee every now and then and smoke cigars down on A Street and where Vizcaya and everything was. Oh, huh?
It's the vernacular of Cuban coffee.
Cuban coffee. It's a beauty. Oh, if they crush it and they do. Oh, it's a beauty. Love the Cuban coffee. And the Cuban people are always very nice to us, even though we didn't speak Spanish. I mean, the most Spanish I know is "Pasa de Pepe, por favor." But they embraced us and they loved us, and it was great. Always loved going down to Little Havana in Miami. For those people, that's in the United States.
Well, breakfast
Next
at
hurricane goes through there. Breakfast at Vizcaya. Oh, that's a world famous Cuban restaurant. It's a beauty.
I don't think I've been to that one, but this is just off Collins, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. No, Vizcaya's in Little Havana.
Which is Miami, right?
Right, that's all Miami. Right. Yeah, it's where all my people live near in Surfside, where all the Jews are, and we own everything. And we have space lasers.
The retired Jews live.
No. The Russian Jews, every Jew, and that's where all the Russian girls that are Jewish that are looking for husbands go to get knocked up and have babies and whatnot. Oh yeah, it's a whole business.
Wonderful. Great insight. This program yields no end of information.
There you go.
On that note, Osman.
Yeah, Osman, what do you got?
Okay. Well, in any case, you've taken up my first one, which was Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and that was not only because of Dubai being Dubai. That was because it is not even 20 years that he's been ruling the country.
That's right.
Yep.
And in that he has made any and everyone come to that place and call it a home. Be it people from West, be it people from the US, be it people from East, South, subcontinent, anyone. And he has just created residences, opportunities of work, anything that you can think of. And trust me, the easiest escape for us Pakistanis even is just fly into Dubai, 2 hours flight, go in, have a good weekend and come back. So it's like something which I really would want to have as him as a dinner guest. But that now that you've taken that one, I would say I would come to another arguably very famous leader. And why I say arguably is because there are two schools of thoughts in anything and everything. And the gentleman is someone who has been leading the country and the politics and all of that for a long time, but came into power, let's say, some 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
And the guy has showed to the world the power of people. And why I say that is that there's a lot of influence that happens from a lot of other countries to countries like us or countries who have different schools of thoughts. But he showed that if you have people siding you, uh, the so-called establishments, the so-called forces, the paramilitary, and all of that cannot overturn you. So I'm talking of the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip
Very
Erdogan,
nice.
because someone who brought some balance to the whole country. Initially, his economic reforms in the 2001, 2002 were amazing, bringing it closer to the EU side, making sure he is getting ready for the sanctions time to be over and has and is technically like Dubai, becoming the central hub for all the flights and everything through Turkey and the Turkish Airlines.
Right.
And I like him because the Turkish Airlines fly directly to Cuba as well. So I think Recep Tayyip Erdogan, I would love to have dinner with, as that's my rationale for that.
Very good.
I like that. Very good. Before we go to round two, just because we spoke about our sponsor for the month of July, the headset people, which is called, if I can get the name right, Soundpeach Space, which is a great noise canceling headset, which sometimes on this show would be good. But it's actually good. And I can't get them because my family has stole them from me. So let's run the commercial and pay a bill, and then we'll come back with round two. Soundpeach Space. Hybrid active noise cancellation headphones. Wireless Bluetooth. 123 hours of playtime. High-res audio. The best headphones out there. And there you go. A short and sweet commercial, and their link is below, and I would definitely recommend. They're better than Bose. Let me put it that way. So, and much better than Bose. Go ahead.
Since I won round one, I'm going to have to step my game up a little bit.
No. Round one. Whoa.
That was
a tie
because everyone had them on his list.
Yeah, and I had the Cuban president, and you didn't. And Usman and I had the Cuban president.
I sense dissension in the ranks. You've got another 2 rounds. You have another 2 rounds to make up space here. Okay.
All right.
The round one, clearly, obviously, my guess was so popular that both of you spoke for 10 minutes about my guest. So
we spoke for 10 minutes about the president of Cuba because we're sucking up for cigars. What are you kidding?
That's
agreed.
I'm talking about real merit here. So,
oh wow, okay.
Round two. Round two. Now I'm picking a world leader that I'm going to have dinner with, based on slightly existential reasons. Nothing so noble as Usman's choice for someone who's kept the people together. I'm going for someone who's got the most badass security detail, the most badass.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you. This is not fair. You're taking all of us.
I'm going for someone who's got the most.
Kim Jong, Kim Jong because of the hot chicks. I knew it. I had him on my list. I knew it.
The badass himself. Badass haircut. Badass presidential car. Badass military.
Hot Asian chicks. He's got the hot Asian chick bodyguard.
Everyone in line. Everyone does exactly. Apparently, you're only allowed to have 7 haircuts, different styles of haircuts in North Korea. He sets the mark. He sets the balance. Everyone behaves themselves. Prosperous society. Job done. Kim Jong-un, I'd love to have a cigar with you.
Very nice. All right. Kim Jong, I can see that. I had him on my list because I think he smokes cigars. He does smoke cigars. That I know. Because you know who is actually be interesting to have dinner with, if you have dinner with him, would be his sister. Because his sister his sister is a very powerful woman over there. And they said that if he passes away, because I thought they thought he was sick for a while. I read this whole report on his sister, and his sister is quite the young lady. She would be someone I think I'd be very interested to have dinner with her as well. I think she would really be like, wow. I think she'd be one of those women where you leave that, you're like, this chick's got her shit together type of thing. Yeah. You know, her and her brother are running a country. So yeah, I agree. I think that's a good choice.
Very good.
What do you think, sir?
Pardon?
Who's going next? Is Usman going next?
I'll go next. So sticking with the Middle East theme, I'm going to go with the second good leader in the Middle East that's making his country like Dubai. And I've been to the Formula One race there. And as a VIP. As a VIP. And let me tell you something. As a VIP. And let me tell you, they do VIP. Mwah, and I'm going to be there this year. So if he wants to have Scotch and cigars, baby, it's Sheikh. I'm going to fuck up his name. Tamim bin Hamad, something or other of Qatar.
Qatar.
Yeah, Qatar. That's who I
What
want
a
to have
leader.
Scotch and cigars with.
What
Yeah.
a leader. Qatar is at, or
Yeah.
Qatar is at some different level.
Yes, that's a different level.
It's a different
That's who
level.
I would love to. Yeah. Oh, and I've read all about him. I've been to Qatar. Let me tell you. Oh my God! And the Formula One they put on there, and the VIP treatment you get from Formula One, and the people in the country. And I will be there this December.
Let me
There
tell
you
you
go.
something. This is a big compliment to the way Qatar does things. When you fly Qatar Airways, and even
Yes.
if you sit in economy, you get treated like a VIP. There is something.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
That
Can I
they
tell you a
have-
story?
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story about Qatar Airways. So I flew into Doha. First of all, their first class VIP lounge is like it's a Michelin star restaurant. It is
That's right.
phenomenal. Phenomenal. So the flight from Doha to Abu Dhabi is 23 minutes long. So I sit in the front of the bus. The lady says to me, "Will you be having dinner tonight?" So I'm a smart ass. I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "What am I getting? Peanuts?" No, first I get a blanket. I get a pillow. The plane takes off. I get a white tablecloth. They put down a full meal. This is a 23-minute flight, a full meal. They can't be nicer. I eat my meal. And I was like, oh my God. And I will tell you, going from the first class lounge out to the airplane, you have to take a bus. And I said, oh, should I just take any bus? They go, no, sir. You'll take the first class business class bus. When you sit in the first class business class bus, it's like sitting in a living room. There are 7 big chairs, and that is it. And you're like, oh my God. So Qatar Airlines, the best airline. And I hate to say this, I'm sorry, better than Emirates. I hate to tell you. Their lounge makes Emirates lounges can't even compare. It is absolutely the best airline. I found the people and the country to be wonderful. Love Qatar. And like I said, when I've been to Formula One there, I was like, this isn't even real. And I enjoyed every moment of it. And they're having their race in December. Daddy's going to be there. So Sheikh, let's get together, have some Scotch and cigars. And there you go.
I'm so glad you stepped up your game. You got almost close to Kim Jong that's all credit. All credit to you. All credit to you.
Before we get on to the competition mode I have to compliment one part, and Steven. One part that you missed on Qatar, the way they conducted the FIFA World Cup. In the middle of nowhere, they built all those big, fabulous stadiums. And the moment World Cup finished, those stadiums were packed and sent to countries who would actually use them and need them and would be. So that was like a big thing. And if if you see the surveys and if you see all the people who attended the World Cup, they were very, very clear about the fact that it was one of the best managed World Cups because there were no fights. There was no beer throwing on anyone and everyone, and everyone enjoyed it like the sport should be enjoyed.
That's true.
And since it's a Habanos show, I have had the pleasure of smoking Juan Lopez hat trick, which was actually launched in commemoration of the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, and it's an exclusive Qatar. What a phenomenal cigar that is.
Nice. Very
nice.
This
is why Steven's dinner guest is almost at the Kim Jong level. These things are brilliant things.
Brilliant. Yes, and then until North Korea can get Formula One, Qatar will unfortunately beat North Korea. I'm sorry, I hate to tell you that.
Well, I'm gonna beat Kim Jong by bringing in another person who has a similar kind of or even much higher level of security details. The palace that just walks in like anything, the security details.
You can't take my dinner guests away from me. You cannot.
Yes, we can.
No, when you took ours, we're gonna do the same to you. Right?
There you go.
So, and someone again, you were very much vocal about all the Russian women who would come to Miami and want to. So I am going to Vladimir Putin.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to bring in Vladimir Putin.
I had him. Yep.
See,
Vlad
right?
the Impaler.
Right. So the reason I pick him up is I understand the badass part. I understand all the things that are being said controversial about
Very
him.
intelligent man.
But
Very intelligent.
yeah, but the guy is talented. The guy who was a former forces guy, moving on ranks to become one of
Survivor.
the
Born
powerful
survivor.
persons of the biggest or extremely huge geographies, and then sustaining it, making sure that he brings a balance to the other side is
Yep.
something which I really enjoyed. And I think in that is the situation where you can actually have dinner, scotch, vodka, or anything. Because in your second choice, you again went to Qatar, where there is no question of you having whiskey or scotch at the dinner table.
Yes, yes.
So, in that context, I think I've beaten you both here.
I had Putin on my list because I thought he would be an interesting person. I know David has actually reached out to him. I will tell you something. David actually sent to their media office an email that said, we'd love to interview him. Maybe he'll take this as an interview where the three of us will go to Russia, interview him, and discuss cigars.
Oh wow, that's a great. Having said that, it just occurred to me that in your previous comments, you just mentioned that you are probably coming to Qatar in December. Raza, that can be a very interesting meetup point for all three of us in person too.
In where?
In Qatar.
Qatar.
You mean in Qatar? In Qatar.
Yeah,
This is how we say
Qatar.
Qatar.
You don't say it like an American. Say it the right way.
Qatar.
Yeah.
No, it's in Qatar. Qatar.
It depends on.
I'll be at Formula One Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
Yeah.
any other day, I can go longer. And then, and you know what we can do?
Now,
We can interview
Putin.
we can interview.
Your choice of
Oh, yeah,
Putin and your
Yeah.
choice of the ruler of Qatar.
Yeah.
Are fabulous, fabulous choices. Putin will be negated because he was on my list. So it was a good try, but he was on my list.
Well, in that case, the Sheikh Maktoum was also on our list, so that goes.
Yeah, but I went
so is
first.
everybody else.
I went first. He who goes first, they win. Anyway, very interesting
like
round.
Formula
Let's call it a tie. That round is a tie.
The first two, in that case, both the rounds are a tie. Let's go to the third one.
Yeah. What's the third round?
Now you've screwed up round three. I'm going to think on my feet. This is one occasion where I'm thinking on my feet. Okay?
Wait. You're going to think on your feet? Oh, this is going to. All right, everybody, hold on. This is going to be good.
And what I did is when Osman was talking, I a little bit zoned out to focus in on who I'm going to pick for my third guest. Here I have it. I'm going for the ultimate Playboy world leader.
Oh,
MBS.
No. Yeah, he's a very at least in the public eye, very respectful person. I'm talking about Playboy. Playboy world leader.
Are you talking about the king of Thailand?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to tie in Playboy. I'm going to tie in casinos, Formula One,
Monte Carlo.
cigars,
Yeah, Monte Carlo.
fine dining, top-end brands, a principality to himself, King Rainier of Monaco.
Yes. I like Monaco.
Thinking on my feet. Did I do okay?
You did, but
maybe.
Listen, Monaco is very nice if you're trying to, keep away from sanctions. I've lived in Monaco for a year. It was very interesting. I've got to see Formula One in Monaco. It was very nice. They keep building into the sea because they have to build more things, but it's okay. I mean, like I thought about Monaco, but I'm like, it's okay. It's not like
technically he's lost because if I recall the exact words from the last episode, he said world leaders and specified it by saying no royalties. So
unless I said no royalty unless it is so nominal royalty is not counted.
Right.
But if they're entrenched in the legality of their country, which the king is, then he's not a token leader. He is the leader. He makes the decisions.
Yep.
So
Yes,
he
he does.
counts.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I had to
We'll
put that
accept it.
rebellion down, but that's the way it is.
A rebellion. Okay. Listen, and Prince Albert or King Albert, if you need us to come there and interview you, smoke cigars, and have scotch with you, we're your three guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, honorable mention, I'm going to just do MBS because I do like MBS. I like what he's doing with Neon and how he's bringing Saudi Arabia from like the 12th century into the 24th century. I don't know if he would smoke scotch or smoke cigars and drink scotch. So I have him as an honorable mention, as I do the King of Thailand. But I think my next guest, because I got to have an Asian thing, and you took my Asian boy. So it's got to be Xi Jinping, the president of China. There's got to be the next guy we want to smoke scotch and cigars with. Of course.
You went for the heavyweights. You went for the heavyweights.
Yeah, I had to go for the real. I mean, I think he would be fascinating. I've read about him. I just think he's a fascinating gentleman. And putting politics aside, which I know nobody on our show we do, but the world can't. That's why like Putin and Kim Jong and even this gentleman, I think they'd be interesting just to speak with, not so much about politics, but just their view on different things.
Shoot the breeze with these people because they will have so many things to say. It would be remarkable.
Yeah. But I think he would be very interesting to do that with. And then of course at the end I'd be like, can you literally take us to one of the zoos because I want to go play with a panda. I figure he's the only guy that can get me back.
Can I ask you a question? In your opinions, up till now, all the world leaders we've chosen, who would have the most wicked sense of humor? Who would it be that you'd be sitting opposite, knowing that they've got there's a funny bone there? In my opinion, I think Vladimir Putin. Of what I've seen of him, he's got a sense of humor.
And he has got a very interesting sense of humor.
And can unleash it as well.
I would think it would be him and Kim Jong. I think those two probably have the most wicked sense of humor. I think the other, even Zhao, I think maybe a little bit, but I think Putin and Kim mostly, because Kim was educated in Switzerland, and I think Putin as well. But I don't know if they would talk to us or they'd be too reserved. I didn't think the rulers of the UAE or Dubai or Qatar would. I think they'd have humor, but I think it'd be very reserved or held back because of us. But I think Putin would just be Putin.
Yeah, I think Putin would be Putin, and why I say that is that I've recently met a gentleman who was in Pakistan in the Russian embassy, and I happened to meet him over dinner, and we shared a few cigars, and we met a couple of times, and I think the way he has spoken about him and the way I've come to know, I think that would be a very interesting dinner table.
I do. I agree with that 1,000%. I think that would be one of those dinner tables where some of the dinner tables we have, it's sort of like they'd be fun, even with like Groucho Marx and whatever. And it's like when it's over, you're like, it's over. But some like this dinner table, I think it would be like, really, it's over? Like any of the leaders we've picked, they'd be like, what do you mean it's over? Like we've only been together 12 hours. We need another 12. I think, I think some of the dinner tables would be a little more like, oh no, don't be over yet. I think this is one of those dinner tables. Yeah.
I agree.
Who's next?
Lisbon is next.
It's the third one, last one. Okay, so for as the finale and making sure I put you guys both to rest. Today, my third guest or the world leader is someone who became the youngest prime minister of that country.
Is that hot chick from New Zealand?
He's not there anymore.
Now that you actually mentioned her, I would say that she was going to be on a list as an honorable mention because she wasn't able to secure the second term and all of that. Right. Someone who has been in power since, let's say, 2015, and someone who comes across as liberal enough to be inclusive to a lot of nationalities, inclusive to a lot of races, gender, and has done a lot in terms of empowering people, opening immigration, giving people some good livelihood, coming up with plans that are welfare-based plans. I think my dinner guest in that case is going to be Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Okay.
I know. Both of you are thinking. I know both of you are thinking. We were going with someone who actually can have the fun side on the table as well.
Yeah, it's the problem. He reminds me of JFK, and okay, I'm good.
Usman loses.
Yeah, you lost that round. Sorry, pal.
Like both of us are saying you lost that round.
Yeah,
Well, good attempt. Well tried.
Yeah. I mean, if he invited us to come have Scotch and cigars with him, and they pay, we'd go. But for me to buy a plane ticket on my own dime to go have Scotch and cigars with him, yeah, I'm good. I can do a Zoom call. Everybody else I would pay, but they can all send a private jet. But yeah, so to me, it's very different.
Honorable mentions.
MBS definitely is an honorable mention. The King of Thailand.
Okay, so MBS for me and Jacinda from New Zealand.
Yes. And the King of Thailand, I like him just because he has a FU attitude. I like him a lot.
You're referring to the new King of Thailand, right?
Well, he's been king now for like 10 years.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
The recent King of Thailand is, if I'm not wrong, not more than 4 or 5 years, because they had the longest monarch, like the Queen, and the previous king passed away, like, if not more than 3-4 years ago, not more than that.
So, right. So whoever the new king is, I like him because he had the female pilot that became his wife, that became the I think he's actually a pretty cool guy, and he seems to be, and I mean this in the nicest sense, kind of out there. Like he does his own thing, doesn't, and I'm like, I like that. I like that he's a kind of a maverick. So I think having Scotch and cigar with him would just be interesting, and then asking him just about different things. Yes, we know you have an ST DuPont lighter,
No, he doesn't have an ST DuPont lighter. He has a Joker in the form of an ST DuPont lighter.
Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. I didn't realize that you were.
And here comes the show part.
There you go.
Honorable mentions. Can I have my 2 honorable mentions?
Yeah, if you want to.
Boris Johnson, Donald Trump.
In any case,
Boris Johnson, Donald Trump. I would love to have Boris Johnson, Donald Trump at my dinner table smoking cigars. It would be a riot.
Trump doesn't drink nor smoke cigars.
My only question is, both the orange head people and you, a baldy, they will look like?
It's called compensation. I need to compensate. And I'm being honest with you. Boris Johnson, honestly, Boris Johnson would be hilarious. I would love to have Rishi Sunak just to reach over and give him a slap, but that's something else. Boris Johnson, Donald Trump. The thing is, you see, I think in some sense, my view of a dinner guest is slightly different from your views of a dinner guest. My view of a dinner guest is someone with whom I'm entertained and also learning at the same time. Okay. And it's not necessarily a power play or a historical significance. Okay. I mean, if it's Kim Jong I'm interested in his security detail. That's it. It's like, my God, how do you get to be such a powerful person? You know what I mean? Having all these.
You just want to look at the hot chicks. That's all. You just want to look at the hot Asian chicks. I got it.
I'm a base human being. I will go for the things that suffice my needs before anything else.
Like, we're picking dinner guests that we're going to learn things from and enjoy. You're going to be with Kim Jong. You're going to be like, did you see her? Did you see her? The whole dinner is going to be. You're going to leave North Korea in a neck brace. And we're done. You're going to be like, my neck. Look. Did you see her over there? You
remember Beavis and Butthead? I'm like a real life Beavis or Butthead. One of them. Right?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I got that. Yeah. Usman and I are going, like, we're going to meet with these political leaders. We're going to talk about how you built your a desert into a country and and you're like, you got hot Asian bodyguards. I'm going to go hang out with this guy. All right, there you go. So there you go. That's too funny. But this would be a very interesting dinner. Like I said, this is one of those dinners that I wouldn't want it to end. And it'd be interesting to put them all in the, which we know you can't, but it would be interesting to do that and just hear them. Because I think it would be fascinating just to hear their thoughts and what they think and how, especially the Dubai ruler, because it'd be interesting. Like, what was your vision to get you from a desert to where you are? Lots of criticism.
I know what his vision was. Make it happen.
Yeah, that was it.
Make it happen.
Yeah, that was his vision. Yeah, and he did. He's one of those guys that's like, we have money, let's do it. And Qatar has done the same thing, but they've done it, which I find interesting, very quietly.
Yes.
Like when I go there, it's very their opulence is very understated. And then you look at Dubai, and Dubai's opulence is right, and Dubai's opulence is like in your face. But I will say at the Doha airport, it's reverse. In Dubai, their airports, it's okay. I know they're building a new one. And in Qatar, when you go to Doha, that airport is like, are you kidding? Like it's like beautiful. You name it, it's there. It's gorgeous.
It's beyond what a human being would have thought an airport could look like, which is what makes it special.
And like, and the lounge, like I said at the airport, just for people that have never been, is 3 stories. It's the size. Each story is the size of a football pitch. And the menu literally has Michelin chefs on it, and it's like the best.
I'd love to do this show sitting in Qatar with both of you, sitting in Doha with both. Even if it's in the bloody airport, we can sit in the airport and do this show.
Oh my God! And you could smoke cigars in their first class lounge.
Absolutely, yes. They have a La Casa and Habano in there, and you can smoke cigars. Amazing.
So we should call Qatar Airlines and tell them they need us to fly over there, promote their airline, smoke cigars, and do everything and do a show from the airport.
The better idea. Why don't you ask David to call them and arrange for us to do that?
And not invite David? No problem. I feel
David, a salute to you. I know Stephen likes to rip you a new one, but a salute to you.
Let me tell you.
With all of this talk, I think it's time that I should somehow interact with David and know what you guys actually talk about and pick up on him and make sure that he doesn't attend your show at least.
You need to watch No Snobs or Knobs, which is another show.
I exactly saw it. Yes.
Okay.
By the way, just on that note, in case you're still sitting here watching, subscribe now, like and comment. Drop some comments because we're aching to write stuff back to you guys.
Are you? Actually, are you?
He is. He's lonely. That's why.
Yeah.
I do go on there and.
Having said that, how's your cigar smoking?
Oh, it's very smooth. It's exceedingly smooth. I have very little story about this one. About 2 months ago, I was, maybe I've said this before, 2 months ago, I was walking through Mayfair in London and I got the aroma of someone smoking an Open Eagle literally down the street. And it was very aromatic. And when I walked up to that person, they were smoking an Open Eagle. And I said, wow, what a great cigar. Because, I mean, this was great. Someone 50 meters away, 60 meters, smoking an Open Eagle. And I was still benefiting from that. You know that little waft of cigar smoke that comes down and hits you and you know someone's smoking something classy somewhere. Yep. And so I have a little smile on my face when I smoke this one as a result. And I know that the aroma being generated, the taste is it's a very smooth taste. It's very mildly cedary. To me, it hasn't really got strong. It's a little bit of a linear smoke, but it's a very easy smoke. It's the Open series, they're all very easy smoking cigars, regardless of what flavor they have. But this one in particular has a great aroma. It's got that very rich, cedary, expensive smelling. You know that smell associated with an expensive cigar? This has got it in bundles. This one, let me show you if anyone is interested.
Let me give you a solo shot.
So it's the Open Eagle. It's the Monte Cristo Open Eagle. One of the nicest smelling aromatic cigars that I have encountered in a long while.
Very nice.
Yeah. So that's the That's the rose about this cigar. It's got a great.
With that, I think while we were talking and we started talking about the cigar, I think I mixed it with the Open Master, saying it a Robusto. This is not a Robusto; it's a 54 ringgit.
It's a 54.
And it is called as Genialis.
That's right.
Right.
So I had the Open Master last night. I was prepping up. That was actually more the Open Master was more flavorsome, slightly richer flavor. But this one I kept as a bigger smoke for today because last time, if you remember, I rattled through the Partagas Culebra.
Absolutely.
I rattled through it, and I don't have any remnants of it left. I've got the box sitting over there, but today I wanted a cigar that would go the whole course. So this one, I think I've smoked half of it, just over half of it. And I'm really enjoying it. Can't recommend it enough to anyone.
No, and I will say, as we've talked about, I took the wrapper off because I've got the CAO Brazilian is just a beautiful smoke. Once again, I don't get the flavors. It's a new world. But if you want a big smoke with a good aroma, the CAO Brazilian is that smoke. And it's just a good smoke.
It's a fabulous cigar, regardless.
It is.
As I said last time also, the 2 times I've smoked it, I have a very good memory of it, and I think this is something which is very much worth for the money it is, and something which is very, very nice coming out of the New World Cigars.
Yeah,
can I ask a question? Well, an observation more than anything. When it comes to Monte Cristo cigars, and these are not Dominican Monte Cristos, these are the Cuban original Monte Cristos, just because you've got a big US audience, I just want them to know these are the original Cuban Monte Cristos. People tend to have a love-hate kind of relationship with Monte Cristo cigars. A lot of people don't like them. A lot of people swear by them. It's slightly polarizing, this brand. Having said that, I think the Open series, the one with this green band on it, have been made to incorporate a new type of smoker that can appreciate a slightly lighter smoke, slightly more aromatic smoke. So if you haven't really enjoyed Monte Cristos before, this is possibly the one to start with. You may not go for the biggest one. You could go for the
Junior,
open juniors. You could start with an Open Junior. And then build up to this, but this is a fabulous smoke right off the bat. I'm sure you would love it. You would love it.
This is so far the largest of them. Open Junior, Open Master being the Robusto, Open Regatta being the Pyramidus shape or the Figurado, and then Open Eagle. Last year they came up with Open Slam, which is the 5th one to this entire Vitola Rio, but it is still not available in the market, so can't really comment on that one. As far as your question was, or your comment was on Monte Cristos, yes, have this kind of reputation, and I think it is new. If you meet the old smokers of Cuban cigars, and this being a global brand and one of the older brands, a lot of people had a very positive thing to say about Monte Cristos, to an extent that Monte Cristo number 2 was at one point in time, till a few years ago, the highest selling cigar coming out of Cuba, which is now taken up by Partagas D4. If the stats are still correct. And I think I really appreciate Monte Cristos when it comes to having a mild, cedry, leathery smoke, if I feel like, and the fact that I actually started smoking with Monte Cristos. My first ever cigar was Monte Cristo number 3, and that was the only cigar I smoked till at least 7-8 years while I was smoking. So from 2006 to, if I'm not wrong, 2014, I would only smoke Monte Cristo number 3, thanks to James J. Fox at St. James's in London, who introduced me to the cigar. And I think they're a good cigar. It just depends on your palate. And once you actually start to widen your horizon, that's when you move on to the other cigars. But I think for someone who has to start, Monte Cristos are absolutely phenomenal cigars, no doubt about it. And there's a reason they are one of the 6 global brands coming out of Cuba.
Yeah. No.
With
And the
that,
nice thing about Cuban
but
cigars, I find there's never been a bad Cuban. I've never
mm,
had a bad Cuban smoke.
You're lucky then.
Yeah, no, I've been very
well,
fortunate.
They do
New
that's
exist.
World,
that's
tons.
that's a very interesting comment coming out of it, because what my statement is, well, whenever I buy a box, I am always sure 3 to 4 are gonna be bad smokes,
Okay.
and that's the beauty of completely bespoke hand rolled cigars,
Right.
and
There's an
them having.
element of danger, a little bit of an
Yes.
adrenaline rush that heightens the expectations. There's a little
I've
bit
had
more
bad,
invested into getting the
right.
fun out of it.
But I've had more bad smokes from New World cigars when I bought a box than I've had when I bought a box of Cuban cigars.
That's well, that I agree with completely, and that's the only reason I do not buy non-Cubans in boxes unless I am very certain about it. CEO Brasilia,
Right.
Nubs, for that matter,
I'm not a
Davidoff.
Nubs fan. Davidoff, I'll buy a box. CAO Brazilians. Nubs, I tried. I wasn't a fan.
No, okay. So for me, Nubs are like your walking by smokes kind of stuff. I mean, if you don't have
Right, right, right.
anything, and it's like just pick it up, because see, nubs are easily available here. CEO Brasilia, you have to actually go and find or ask someone flying out of US to get you some. But nubs,
Gotcha.
since we get them here, that's why. And in those, nub Connecticut and the nub Habano is something which I really enjoy. Last night I actually braved myself to a double Maduro in nubs, and when I put it up
Nice.
on the group, I got a very interesting backlash, or say
Lots of
slaps
hate
from
mail,
my friends.
hate mail.
Yeah, saying what are you doing this, and the new thing going on regarding this hack to girl. That statement even came through. You need to do that to the cigar. But I
Right.
think I was home. I was lazy. I did not want to pick up anything else. I was like, let's just smoke this and try it out. I wasn't unimpressed, so to say. Yes, I can forget it. It's a forgettable cigar. I agree with you.
Right.
But it was an easy smoke, so it was okay for me last night.
Yeah. And then we have over here, we have Padron, the Padron 19.
Oh,
Now that's a good. I've
phenomenal
said
cigar.
only have the problem with the Padron is it's box pressed, and I don't like that. I like hand rolled, but the 1926 series number ones, every now and then I'll buy a box of those if I don't buy
Yes.
a Davidoff, and those I buy the natural, not the Maduro, and it's a beautiful smoke. And I don't think I've ever bought a bad box of Padron 1926s. I don't find the 1964 as good as a
Okay.
1926, but I love the 1926s.
I am, as you said, you've never had a bad Cuban. I would say I've never had a bad Padron.
There
I
you go.
have never had
Yeah.
a bad Padron, and I've liked their 1926, 1964, both series, and I've always enjoyed them. Uh, so yeah, I mean, and I think this little thing, the short Churchill. Again, I'm not a big Romeo's fan,
Right, right.
the ones coming out of Cuba, the Romeo and Julietas. But I think the Churchill range in the Romeo and Juliets, starting from the Petit Churchill to this short Churchill to white Churchill to even the Churchills, the epitome for me is the Churchill Anihados, which are extra aged and all that stuff. I think they are phenomenal, fantastic cigars. And given the fact that it is evening here, I picked this up so that it can last me for an hour. So I think this is doing absolute justice to the entire show so far. So
Yeah.
very good cigar.
And so is this one. So there you go. That's why I always
Great.
have to find a. Next week I'll smoke something exotic and crazy just for fun, and we'll see how it does. That I haven't smoked before. Like the pig I
Well,
smoked last week was a good
next
cigar.
but next week, since we have the topic
Sports.
is very interesting on sportsmen. I think I know what I'm gonna smoke. The only thing is, it's going to be probably the last or the second last cigar in my humidor. So that would mean I would start to race and find them more. But I think that's always a good cigar.
Well, especially because we're going to talk about sports fig. This is going to be very interesting because there's a lot of sports figures out there. I've already got a list in my mind, but I've got some older ones and some newer
Yeah.
ones. I can't wait. It's going to be very global, not just U.S. people.
Yes.
So,
Yes. That's
yeah.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, but people that actually meant something in sports, not like the athletes today that don't do jack crap. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
it'll be fun. Well, gentlemen, as always, this has been a wonderful Saturday morning to spend with you, or in your case, Saturday night and Saturday afternoon. And for all our fans, yes, it's really Wednesday, but we say Saturday because you guys don't know the difference. And don't forget, you can subscribe and like. You can catch us if you don't want to look at our beautiful faces. You can catch us on wherever you get your podcast. Just go to Two Old Farts Making Noises. Look for the Habanos Cigar Show, and we are there. And we want to thank our sponsor, Soundpeach Space, for their noise canceling headsets. I may get to use again sometime if I can pry them out of somebody's hands in our house. And apparently we may have other cigar sponsors. Since we're a cigar show, at some point, it'd be good to have a cigar sponsor come on with cutters or lighters or even cigars and, have them sponsor the show instead of a headset company. Just saying. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I know who I need to talk to in this case.
there you go. And to the leader of Qatar and to the leader of Dubai, anytime you want to send us some first class tickets, we'll be more than happy to come out and promote everything there for you. And to Qatar Airlines, we're there in a heartbeat because we love your airport in Doha. In fact, we'll never leave the airport. We can literally just stay there for 3 days, and I think we'd be fine. I love that airport. If I have to do a layover, I just spoke to a friend of mine. She was going, I forget where, and she said, "Where should I lay over?" And I use a wholesaler because I'm a cheap Jew, and I use wholesaler to get first class and business class tickets. And if you guys need to know who that is, we can arrange it. But anyway, I said to her, "You want to lay over in Qatar and in Doha?" And she did. And she sends me a text message. She goes, "I have a 9-hour layover." And she said, "I loved it." She said, "I went to the lounge like you said. I did this, I did that. I got a massage." Blah, blah, blah. She was in like heaven. So if you got a layover and you can do it in Doha and you're flying Qatar, yeah, and you're flying Qatar. I don't know what the other airline's doing. You're flying Qatar. That's where you want to lay over, and you want to just make it the longest layover and just enjoy the heck out of it. It's great.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and we're not even being paid by them, and we're talking nicely. So there you go. Can you imagine if they pay us? So there you go. So they sponsor Formula One. They should sponsor us.
Yeah, true that.
Our cigars, Qatar Airlines. So
the Formula One of cigar shows.
There you go. That's what I like to think. And we want to thank all our fans. Our numbers keep going up. So it's doing well. And our channel numbers, just so you guys know, we're at, I think, 98 or 99,000 subscribers. And a lot of the new subscribers are coming from our cigar show.
100K.
Yeah, soon
the 100,000 mark. Yeah. So we want to thank everybody for that, especially you two gentlemen. Without you, it would never happen. And everybody else that's on our shows and our channel. But once again, gentlemen, always a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day or your evening. We'll see all you guys next week. And there you go. As they say, here's everybody. Have a good one. Bye.